Hey everyone, Rachel Jensen here, broker owner of Luna Realty Belize on the beautiful island of Ambergris Caye. We are in question number 41 today in the inbox, which is a series when we answer questions that have been asked by folks like you about the Belize real estate market or Belize generally. So today at question number 41, it wasn't exactly a question, but more of a thought or a concept, and it's a great one. It's one that Matthew asked. And I'm going to read that to you and then we'll get to the answer. So Matthew says, Ambergris Caye has recently come onto my radar and caught my interest. However, my wife is a bit less enthusiastic because she's wary of international real estate and feels that it'll be more complex and a risky investment. I'm curious as to your thoughts on this. So I'm mentioning this because this is actually not too uncommon where we have one person in the relationship who's really gung-ho about owning property here. And then the other person is like, what are you doing? You're absolutely crazy. Let's just stick to the markets that we're used to or our hometown or wherever we're from, because we know that. However, I do think there is a real benefit to diversifying. Obviously, I'm here in Belize. I live in Belize. I'm an American. And so for me, that international diversification is huge. And I think especially for people who are looking to grow and expand their portfolio and just de-risk their portfolio, especially when it comes to one location. However, with that being said, I do think that it is important to know the differences between the real estate market here compared to other places. Obviously, I don't know what's going on all across North America in each little town or city. So it's going to be a little bit more general and focused on Belize and what you can expect when you're coming to Belize. But obviously, I'm partial to this country here. I don't find it to be a risky investment. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling people to come on down. But I do have to say that in order to mitigate risks, right, you want to make sure you're doing your homework and really understanding what you're buying into. If you think you're going to come down here and make 15% return on investment year after year, and you're going to just jump right in and it's going to be easy money, like it's not exactly that. There is expectations that you need to set, but I do think it is a really great opportunity for you to diversify into a country where English is the official language. You can read the paperwork, you know what's going on, you have title to the land, it's yours. So when you compare Belize to other countries, I do find it to be certainly less risky, but let's just go through what the differences are and just set those expectations correctly. So one of them is that there is an established rental market here. Now, Belize as a country, I'm going to just take a step back. Belize as a country is about the size of Massachusetts, population-wise about 400,000 people. So it's a small country. However, in the country, we have submarkets, as you could expect, right? You can't generalize the whole country as being the same in terms of rental income, as being the same in terms of real estate investing. I sit on the board for our national association here, and my board members, they're all throughout the country, and regularly we discuss how different each of our markets are. And so I'm based on Ambergris Caye, so what you hear me talk about is going to be specifically Ambergris Caye. So here on the island, there is an established rental market here. It's the #1 tourist destination for the entire country. Lots of reasons for that. I talk about that in other sessions. But this is really where people tend to go when they're looking for a market that already has an established rental market. We're seeing the visitors, we're seeing the occupancy. There's no real surprise when it comes to this island being the top tourism hub. However, if you are looking to finance, do not, and this is seller financing, and seller financing I talked about in previous sessions typically tends to be different terms, 50% down, 3 to 5 year term, 8% interest. If you're coming into this with that standard investor mindset of I'm going to put 20% down, maybe maximum of 20% down, I'm going to get some great interest rates, my monthly payments are going to be covering all of my expenses, that's not the case. When people are taking advantage of seller financing here, terms are different, 50% down, 8% interest, 3 to 5 years. Your monthly income will likely not cover the seller financing payments. If you're able to come in and pay cash, you should typically expect about a 6 to 7% net return. And that's for the properties that are producing well, which your real estate agent can talk to you about more specifically. But if you are taking advantage of seller financing, please do not expect that your monthly income is going to be covering that expense. Now, it's great because you'll be paying down your monthly expenses with your income, but it won't be necessarily cash positive when you have that mortgage associated with it. Also, rentals are seasonal. So here, November through April is considered high season, with peak season being the holidays. So Christmas time, we just had somebody who was an investor planning to come down during Christmas, and they're like, we didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. If you are planning to be an investor and you want to own an investment property here, and your goal is to make the highest return on investment as possible, do not come down over Christmas or New Year's or spring break. This is our peak season. High season runs November through April. Peak season is the holidays, it's spring break, it's Easter time. That's when you're going to be receiving a majority of your rental income. Now, from August, September, October, the flip side, this is low season. So you will not necessarily be seeing that rental income come in. Typically, hotels will close for a month, they'll refurbish, clean, do whatever they need to do in terms of maintenance. So if you're owning in a place like Las Terrazas, for example, they close the entire month of September. So do not expect rental income to be coming at that point. However, the plus side of that is that when the property opens again in October, it is looking beautiful. It is well maintained, and people who rent, vacationers, notice when properties look good. But again, just setting those expectations. A bulk of your income is going to be coming during high season. A lot of it is going to be coming during that peak season. And then I would really not expect anything September, October, or August, September, October. Keep some money in the bank account to be paying those expenses, but just understand that. And then last but not least is that titles can be the name of a corporation or a personal name. And I'm just saying this because when you're looking at ownership of real estate here, when you're buying a property as a resale property, it's going to be titled in the owner's personal name or in a corporation that they've set up, whether it's a Belize company, an international business company. Sometimes the seller is willing to sell the entire company that holds the asset of the real estate. Sometimes they're not. And the reason I tell you this is because closing fees vary depending on how you are assuming the title. If you're assuming a corporation with a limited number of shares that have been distributed, then you can expect lower closing costs than the normal 8% plus the attorney fees. If the title is in a personal name, held in someone's personal name, then you have the standard 8% stamp tax. However, I would certainly not go into your real estate search with the desire to find a property that specifically has a corporation with a limited number of shares distributed, because you're going to be banging your head. And sometimes sellers don't necessarily know if they want to sell that entire corporation. So I would always just factor that standard 8% stamp tax plus, I'd say up to 2% attorney fee. So add an additional 10% onto the closing cost, onto the purchase price to cover your closing costs there. So again, it's not necessarily risky, it's just different. And if you're not aware of these differences prior, it can of course make your head spin and just make you question, what is going on here in Belize in terms of real estate. So I would say, Matthew, you can tell your wife to come on down for a vacation down here. This is the best thing that you can really do, is see it with your own eyes and get a feel of the place here. Ambergris Caye is a very tourism centric location. So I think that your wife will feel very comfortable here. It's very safe. I know personally, when I moved to Belize, I moved by myself. I didn't have friends or family here. It was very important for me to feel safe here. And from that personal safety perspective, I've certainly found it. And then from the legal perspective of land ownership, I certainly feel that as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't personally be investing here. So we have tons of resources at our team, Luna Realty Belize. We have awesome team members here who want to make sure you're educated. And if you are looking for someone to help you through that buying process and help you find that ideal property, reach out to us, info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com. I do get a copy of all of those emails. So I would love to say hi and hopefully to see you down here in person at some point. Otherwise, you can also expect to hear from our team members who are living here on the ground and just experts in the real estate field. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your day or evening, and I look forward to seeing you here in Belize. Bye-bye.